Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskaram, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Welcome to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where we are going to learn the significant events of the past 24 hours from the perspective of our UPSC examination. The questions have been formulated on the lines of Prelims 2023, 2022, 2021 and the rest of the examinations that the UPSC has conducted. Keeping in line with the current pattern, we have formulated questions, but whatever information is related to it will be beneficial for your mains examination as well. So without any further delay, let's carry on. I would like to suggest not to make notes because I provide the notes through the form of the PDF that I'm using, and that is available on my Telegram channel by the name of Pooja Dwivedi UPSC. If you have any queries regarding this examination, you can also talk to me on my Instagram. These are the various events that we have to cover today. A question of practice was asked with respect to Central Empowered Committee. So we will solve that together. Those of you who have answered it correctly, I will take your names by the end of this class. I would also like to inform you about the P2I batches. The P2I batches have been getting a lot of positive response. That is why we have come with another batch. That is the morning batch from 11th of September. These batches will be available in Hindi, English and English. Whatever suits you the best, you can get enrolled in that. Other than this, many coaching institutes treat the GS part, ethics part, CSAT part all together as a different batch. But in the P2I batches, you will not only get GS, but also CSAT, ethics, essay, language papers, and interview preparation will also be there. Other than this, there is a StudyIQ campus program. That means if you're able to qualify UPSC Prelims 2024 and you are a student of any of the P2I batches, you will be called to the StudyIQ campus where you will prepare for the mains examination for 4 months without any extra charges. Lodging facilities will be provided by the StudyIQ only, the StudyIQ team. Now, you have to just use the code PDLive so that you can get this class at these courses at 29,999 only. These will be morning batches. That means from 8 AM onwards, you will have your classes in a live fashion. So make sure you get enrolled as soon as possible. Now, the Central Empowered Committee, which has been recently handed to the Ministry of Environment, it was a watchdog of the Supreme Court. And it was established in which of the following years we have to answer it. The correct answer to this question would be option C, that is 2002. Now, in more than 2 decades of its time, it has worked very well under the supervision of the Supreme Court. Not only it has been handed over as a reporting authority, as in Ministry of Environment will be a reporting authority of the Central Empowered Committee, but funding will also be given by the Ministry of Environment only. The candidates will be nominated by the Ministry of Environment. That means Supreme Court will have no role at it. Other than this, earlier certain members had to be NGO, from the NGO, specifically environment experts. That term has also been done away with. Anybody can now be called as an expert. So these are the certain things on which many activists are saying that CEC will get diluted. We will see about that. Option C will be correct. Those of you who have answered it correctly, I will take your names by the end of this class. Also, I have already told you about this. So let's move forward. Let's talk about its initial phases. It was set up in 2002, reconstituted in 2008. According to the Supreme Court, it has rendered yeoman service to the cause of environment. In cases such as compensatory afforestation, net present value of forest, Kudremukh mining, Aravali forest and Bellary mining. It watched very carefully all of this. It has filed thousands of reports on issues which have been referred to it by the Apex Court. Not only that, in 2006, a CEC report resulted in a month's simple imprisonment of a former Maharashtra minister and a serving forest secretary because he permitted wood mills to operate in violation of the SC's order. Let's move ahead. Consider the following statements. With respect to earthquake, most of the shaking and damage from an earthquake is due to Rayleigh waves. P waves are about 10 times faster than the S waves. S waves cannot pass through fluids. So, how many of the statements given above are correct? Recently, we witnessed that the death toll is rising. The death toll in Morocco due to the earthquake has been at least 600. By the time you will watch this video, it will increase further. I have also covered this topic in one of my classes today itself at 1 p.m. on StudyIQ IAS English. Please do watch that. You will get very conceptual, a good kind of conceptual clarity on how do earthquakes occur specifically in the Atlas Mountain region. So here is the Atlas Mountains. Here is the World Heritage Site Marrakesh. Just few kilometers away from it, there is a ski resort on the Atlas Mountain itself. That is the focus of the entire earthquake. The Atlas Mountains are seismically very active. They are very active with respect to earthquakes because they are a part of the Alpine Himalayan range. I have covered all this in detail. Please do watch that. It will give you a lot of clarity. Alright, and you can write a good mains answer over it. Now, what is an earthquake? We know that the crust of the earth is divided into different plates. It's not a single plate, it has many tectonic plates. So they move past each other. It is a general thing that they do because of the activities in the asthenosphere. And when they move past each other, because they're rough, their edges are very rough. This is the edge. So when they do so, there is friction that is created, and that has a lot of energy. And when that energy gets released, at the point where the energy is getting released, it is known as hypocenter. And the region that is just affected lies above it. This is the epicenter. This is due to generally faulting. Alright, and the surface where they slip is called fault. The location below the Earth's surface where the earthquake starts is hypocenter. Just above it, we have the epicenter. There are two types of waves, primary and surface. In the surface, we have love waves and Rayleigh waves. Primary waves are the first to be recorded on the seismograph. Although they are faster just by 1.7 times and not 10 times. Surface waves are the waves that are transverse in nature. And they create troughs and crests like this. They move like this. In here only we have love waves and Rayleigh waves. So primary waves are the first to be recorded on the seismograph. They can travel through solids, liquids and gases. Whereas the S waves, they can only travel through solids and no fluids, not liquid, not gases. Alright, I hope you understood it. Then we have the most destructive of the surface waves, that is the Rayleigh waves. And then we have the love waves. This is the way they are moving. Alright, so that makes the first statement to be most of the shaking and damage from an earthquake is due to Rayleigh waves. Yes. When the surface waves reach the surface and they start interacting with the bodies and objects that are available on the surface, they create Rayleigh waves and love waves. And Rayleigh waves are the most destructive. So first is definitely correct. P waves are about 10 times faster. No, 1.7 times faster. First is incorrect, second is correct. S waves cannot pass through fluids such as gases and liquids. That is definitely correct. So first correct, second incorrect, third correct. How many are correct? 2 only will be the correct answer. Let's move ahead to the next question. Arrange the following in the correct order from ascending to descending on the basis of the year of their formation. This could be a really good question for your preliminary examination. We have to choose the correct answer using the codes. So African Union, ASEAN, G20, G7. We have to solve it with the help of these particular maps. See, ASEAN is a group of 10 Southeast Asian countries that was created in 1967 through Bangkok Declaration. The founding fathers of ASEAN are Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. These are the 5 founding members. The rest of them came on at a later period. Now they form the ASEAN grouping. All the ASEAN members include Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei Darussalam, Indonesia. Okay, so this is ASEAN. Sometimes UPSC can ask us about the founding members, just the founding members, so you have to remember. It can give you a question like, which of the following is not a founding member of the ASEAN? So remember, the founding members are different. Later on, those countries who are joining, they are not considered as founding members. The G7, The group of 7 started as a group of 8. In 1973, it was conceptualized. In 1975, it got established or institutionalized. That means proper institution face was given to it. It consists of the countries such as the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Italy, Germany, and Japan. And USA considered that USSR could be included, and it was included as the G8 member. But after the annexation of Crimea in 2014, it was pushed out. So 1975 is the correct thing to that. African Union, which has recently become a permanent member of the G20, is and was found officially in 2002. It's a group of 55 countries. There are certain countries that are suspended right now due to the political instability, such as Sudan, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Gabon. But they are not completely expelled. They are suspended temporarily. And this grouping has now become a part of the G20, a permanent member. A big deal for India as a president. G20, it started in 1999 as a group which used to meet through its finance ministers and the governors of the central bank, because it was formulated during the Asian financial crisis, not ASEAN, sorry, Asian financial crisis. But in 2008, it was thought, let's elevate it to leader level. So it started as a finance minister, central bank governor meet in 1999, but it was elevated at the leader level in 2008. 1999 will be the correct answer over here. A group of 20 comprises of 2/3 of the world's population, including the African Union. We will be representative of 80% of the Earth's population. That's a huge deal, very inclusive in nature. And it comprises of 85% of the GDP. It will increase by the inclusion of African Union. So, of course, that's very important for us. Let's move ahead. Answer this question. C. African Union was created in 2002 officially. Earlier, we had the Organization of African Unity that was created in 1963. African Union is a successor of that. Then we have the ASEAN, which was created in 1967. Then we have the G20 over here, which was created in 1999. And the G7 was created in 1975. Yes. So, on the basis of their formation, year of formation, first stands out ASEAN. Then we have the G7. Then we have the G20. And finally, we have the African Union. 2431 will be the correct answer. 2431 option B will be the correct answer. I have already explained this to you, right? So, let's move forward. With respect to the Kuiper Belt, choose the incorrect statement. It stretches beyond the orbit of Pluto. The Kuiper Belt is a donut-shaped ring of icy objects around the Sun. The first mission to explore the Kuiper Belt is the New Horizon. Short-period comets originate in the Kuiper Belt. See, recently it was found out that there could be an Earth-like planet. There is an Earth-like planet there, and since many years we have been looking for an Earth-like planet in the Kuiper Belt. It is very possible that even the Kuiper Belt consists of icy bodies. It can have a planet, a habitable life. Let's see about it. See, the first statement in itself is incorrect because it stretches beyond the orbit of Neptune, not Pluto, because Pluto is situated in the Kuiper Belt, which is sadly not a planet anymore. First is itself incorrect. All the other three are correct. If we talk about it being donut shaped, yes. And it is the first mission to ever explore it was the New Horizon mission that did it in 2015 when it was flying by Pluto. And short period comets, the comets which orbit the Sun within the time span of 200 years, originate in the Kuiper Belt. The longer ones, they originate in the Oort cloud. Oort cloud, okay? Let's move forward. First is incorrect. Rather than that, all three are correct. A will be the correct answer over here. This is the Kuiper Belt. This is Neptune. And as early as in the 1940s, 1950s, it was suggested that there is a belt which would consist of certain objects. And in 1992, Dave Jewett and Jane Liu at the University of Hawaii, they discovered it. Discovered not as a belt as a whole, but an object which was designated as 992QB1. It was orbiting the Sun beyond Neptune at a distance about 40 AU. It was, and since then more than 3,100 similar objects with orbits beyond Neptune have been discovered. That means it is orbiting the sun and the orbit goes beyond Neptune. So this is the Kuiper Belt. We call this swarm of bodies at the Kuiper Belt. The bodies in itself is a swarm and that forms the Kuiper Belt. The word Kuiper has come from the Dutch American astronomer Gerard Kuiper, who speculated about the existence of it beyond Neptune in 1950s. But some people also say that it is the Edgeworth-Kuiper Belt because it is, according to some people, that Irish scientist Kenneth Edgeworth talked about it even before Kuiper did. In the 1940s, he suggested about its existence. So objects which are situated here are known as Kuiper Belt objects, Edgeworth-Kuiper Belt objects, or simply trans-Neptunian objects. All right. Let's move ahead. There are certain things that you must know about it. I have almost completed everything. This is for the PDF purpose. Just know that it's a very important thing to know about Kuiper Belt from the perspective of the prelims examination, because something or the other comes up. And with respect to geography, it is important to know. Let's move ahead. Who among the following coined the term the Global South? Willy Brandt, George W. Bush, Jim O'Neill, Carl Oglesby. The correct answer to this question will be, I have already talked about it many times. In one of my shorts also I have talked about it. The correct answer is D, Carl Oglesby. Okay. So Carl Oglesby, he is an American writer and activist. He termed or coined the phrase the Global South in 1969 when he wrote in a Catholic journal, Commonweal, at the height of the Vietnam War. He said that the North's dominance over the Global South has converged, to be continued, to produce an intolerable social order. So first, the world was divided into certain sections. That was the first world, second world, and the third world. And it was suggested by French demographer Alfred Sauvy in 1952. He divided the entire region, entire globe into different regions on the basis of development. So the first world was the countries, generally the USA, and those countries which are its allies. Second world was the USSR and allies such as communism. That was one thing that he had to know about it. The third world countries are those countries, or were those countries, that are developing or underdeveloped. So if we talk about the current times, the word third world, the phrase third world, has now not been in use since many days, but still some people use it to show their dominance. But it really rose to prominence, the word Global South, the phrase Global South, with the 1980 Brandt report. It was Willy Brandt that showed that there is a division. This is a division between the global, I'm sorry, I'm not at all supporting this map. This is just for visual depiction. There are certain integral parts of India which have been shown not in India. I'm really sorry for that, but I had no choice but to depict it like this. This is not my narrative, not the narrative of StudyIQ IAS English. This is just the narrative of the, some people who wouldn't want to see India as a whole. So this is just for depiction. The Brandt line, it is a division between the global north and the south. And Willy Brandt did it just to show that geopolitically and economically, on the basis of economics and development, he said that there are certain countries in the north that are developed too much and they are growing too much, but there are certain countries, most of the countries in the southern hemisphere, they are underdeveloped or still developing or least developed. So this was by Willy Brandt. Alright, so Carl Oglesby will be the correct answer. I have told you most about it. Let's move forward to the next question. The next question is from ancient history. Consider the following: Nabhivarsa, Dilban, Jaldweep. How many of the above were used to refer to India? One only, two only, all three, none. See, if we talk about Jaldweep, we do not find any reference about the Jaldweep. We found a reference, Jambudweep. What does it mean? It means the land of jamun trees. It has been suggested through many texts that India was sometimes called Jambudweep. In Jain text, it has been suggested that Nabhivarsa, Nabhi was a king, and on the basis of him, the continent of India, the region of India was known as Nabhivarsa. So third is not there, first is there. Dilman, no, Bahrain was known as Dilman during the Indus Valley Civilization period. India was known as Meluha. So first is correct, second is incorrect, third is also incorrect, one only will be the correct answer. Now as you see, when the Prime Minister has been attending the G20 summit as the president. Here we see the reference to India as Bharat. India is probably the only country in the world that has so many names: Aryavarta, Hindustan, Hind, India, Jambudweep, Nabhivarsa, Bharatvarsa, and whatnot. So let's talk about the names. Meluha was mentioned in the text of ancient Mesopotamia in the 3rd millennium BC to refer to the Indus Valley civilization. Imports from Meluha are mentioned in the Sumerian and the Akkadian text. It talked about from Meluha they were importing timber, carnelian, ivory, and they matched the resources in the Harappan realms. Bharat, Bharata or Bharatvarsha, we can get its roots from the ancient Hindu text, that is Mahabharata, and also the King Bharat, the legendary King Bharat. Because of him it was Bharatvarsha. Geographically, the Puranas mention Bharata to be situated between the sea of the south and abode of the snow in the north. And then Aryavarta and Manusmriti, it is the land of Indo-Aryans. But it did not talk about the entire south region as well, because here we can see it is talking about Himalayas in the north and Vindhya mountain ranges in the south. The south is not included as a whole. Jambudvipa, or the land of jamun trees, it is found in several Vedic texts and also few Southeast Asian texts. Jain literature does claim that Bharat is there, and in Nabhivarsa, King Nabhi was the father of Rishabhnath, who was the first Tirthankara and the grandfather of Bharata. Alright, let's move forward. Then we have Hindustan. This was when Persians occupied the Indus Valley in the 7th century. So Sindhu is our river Indus. And because the Persians could not say the letter S, they replaced it with H. So it became Hind. Okay. Then Hindustan. In the Christian era, STAN was also joined. So whoever lived beyond the Sindhu river was a Hindu, no matter what their current religion is. From the 1st century of the Christian era, the Persian suffix STAN was applied, then Hindustan. Greeks, they came to know about Hind. They further did it as IN. So it became Indus. Okay. I hope you understand why we have so many names, and any name is okay. The International Literacy Day is targeted towards which of the following sustainable development goal? Yesterday, on 8th of September, we observed the International Literacy Day. So you have to tell me in the comment segment which of the given options is correct. Let me take the names of those students who have answered my last question correctly. The correct answer was 2002. Yes, option C. Simran has answered it correctly. Kanishk, then Kanishka, Riya, Sunny, Prabhat, Piyush, Manu, Gaurangi, very good. Priyadarshan, Mansi, Manish, thank you, Hobo. Then Abdur, Raj Tiwari, thank you so much. Tejas, Abhishek, Ritu, Abhijit, Nikhil, Sanjay, Omkar, Pragati, Mukul. Yes, Anjan Pal. I don't understand what your question is. I mean, which question are you referring to? You can text me on Instagram and I will resolve your query. Okay. Thank you so much for watching.